What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you want to talk some dividend investing. As always, Robinhood, link in the description. I get a free stock, you get a free stock. And a lot of you are looking at this and saying, man, why would I want to invest? This guy's down over $80 in a day. But the reality is, we're dealing with two major situations. We've got an impeachment trial, and we've got a global virus outbreak. I mean, I don't want to make light of either of these situations because I feel awful that we're going through them as a society. I feel even worse that people are dying from this and are going to have, permanent impacts on their lives. But the reality is, these are also things that we have in movies. These are the plots of Resident Evil, the plots of political thrillers. And of course, we have to expect as a society, as we go through these things, they're going to impact people's wealth. They're going to impact people's well-being. And for me to look at this and say, okay, I'm down $81 is nothing, absolutely nothing in the scheme of the lives that are being permanently impacted by this. So I really have to keep my own perspective on it. Unfortunately, I can't do anything to help the impeachment. Can't do anything to help the virus. I just have to look at where I am. And in fairness, if you look at where I am, I'm still up over $200 the past 3 months. And if I start to think about how bad one day is, then I'm going to start to act very emotionally. And no one makes stable decisions when they're emotional. If you cheat on your diet, do you say, okay, I cheated one day, I'm going to live off, Snickers and ice cream the rest of your life? Of course not. You have to reevaluate every single day. When I look at where we are now and I accept where we are as a society and the things I can't control, I have to look for ways to better myself. I know a lot of people are talking about, well, I'm going to sell everything. I'm going to get out of the market. This is volatility. You really only lose money if you do sell. And I'm up in a lot of positions, as you can imagine, just based on this trend. But, the other side of this is I was putting money into the market as it was going up and getting higher and higher. I was buying at high prices. Why wouldn't I want to put that same money or more as it got lower? It seems so counterintuitive to me. When I look at companies, Carnival here, for example, Carnival didn't have any impact on either one of these situations. But obviously, dealing with tourism, dealing with cruises, going into countries impacted by this, it's going to impact their value in a much sterner way than it's impacting me, my personal value, my $4,000. So what I have to do is look for ways to say, okay, I can't make any of this better. I can't control any of this. But what I can do is try to make myself better. I can try to improve myself in light of what's going on in the world. And one of the best ways I've chose to do that is through investing. Because I don't plan on holding these investments for 2 or 3 days. I plan on holding them 20, 30 years. A lot of these investments, as many of you know, I really help plan to pay my retirement expenses. So when I look back at the market and I see these prices, I know that today there's opportunities, unfortunately, at the expense of terrible things in the world, to buy stocks much cheaper than I would expect to pay. Just like I didn't expect to lose $81 in a day or go down 1.5% or 2% or 3%, but those are things that have happened. So just to go through that, looking at Carnival, I've been buying. I'm going to continue to buy. I think it's at a decent price right now, and hopefully it can recover. Hopefully everyone can recover. Hopefully we can move past this as best we can as a society. The virus, I don't know if the numbers from China are coming out, worse than they are or better than they are, but certainly, there's a lot of strain on society now as we worry about how to quarantine people and how to handle these things. And it definitely is a scary time. I really fear, as a kid, how children would deal with this. As an adult, it's hard for me to quantify what we're going through. And I have a lot of questions that are unanswered. I can only imagine a child's, more intuitive mind may create more grandiose questions that can't be answered by an adult or their parent. It was one of the things that always bothered me about potentially having a child, is in a time like this, when you want to be a strong force in someone's life and you want to be reassuring to them, and they come to you and they ask you questions, is everything going to be okay? Am I going to be okay? Are we going to be okay? And you seriously can't look in them, and say, yes, stare in someone's eyes and say, of course, we're going to be okay. Right now, there's just so much uncertainty about that. And like I said, that impacts a lot of things. It impacts my stock market. It impacts you. It impacts everyone. And that's one of the things that I think I really have to take from this time is looking back and saying, hey, in my life, in your life, have we experienced something like this before? I know that I haven't. I have not seen an impeachment trial during a global virus outbreak. I hope that I never see it again. But at the same time, this is such a small percentage to drop. And if you're in the market right now and this has scared you and you're contemplating getting out, I would only recommend that you put money into stocks that you truly trust, companies that you believe in. Because every company I've bought, for the most part, I believe in. And I have no problem in my ownership of those companies. Whether that means buying more when they're in trouble or looking at companies I thought I wanted to get into but couldn't quite afford based on where they were. Hopefully, month or two, things can be better. We can have more clear and defined answers. And hopefully, for the betterment of everyone, lives ending stops and political frustrations can cease. Love to know your guys' thoughts on this. Appreciate you checking it out. I will be back in the week with more commentary.